get us started?
Dave Ravella,
Here.
Danielle Larison,
Here.
Debbie Smith,
Here.
Nick Cicero, Frank Carter,
Present.
Bill Pepito,
Here.
Bob Seeley, President, Corinne Chronicle,
Here.
Todd Sanford.
I'm here. This is two council members. I'm not sure everybody heard Dixie Rose attending the funeral tonight and Frank Carter. Take a look at our agenda moving forward to Monday, June 19th. Start off as usual with a moment of silent prayer, followed by a pledge of allegiance to the flag. Roll call will follow, and then we have special presentations. 4A, a member of Representative Warren's staff will do an introduction to Morrisville Borough and remind our residents that there is a staff member in Borough Hall every other Tuesday from 12 to 4 to meet with the public, along with providing an update on some of the issues the representative has been working on in Harrisburg. 4B, we have Bob White of the Bucks County Redevelopment Authority making a presentation on the finalization of the Clover agreement. And then missing from special presentations, are we on go with
Yeah, we
PSAB?
could put that as 4A for, as president of PSAB to present to Marley.
Didn't happen last month, so.
Right.
So 4C, or you want a 4A?
4A.
We do 4A, yeah.
What's his name? Ed?
And Childs.
Do you have anything else for special presentations? Hearing the public, I'm not too sure how that's going to go. We have to do a hearing for the proposed zoning change. I'm not sure if that will be part of the hearing of the public or it will be before you vote on the zoning ordinance change.
Yes, we did that first, then we got through all that, then we started the council meeting. Basically one to the next, but that way we have a regular meeting contains.
So
You say they did the zoning change at the beginning of the meeting?
Actually, it was but it was technically a separate meeting. So you may want to ask Sean for the procedure.
Yeah,
I would think that's what I want to do.
You could do a hearing in public after you do your motion for the board, or for the meeting to start something.
But it has to happen.
So what Dave's saying is
Right.
it's contained all right in the beginning.
That's what I'm saying. So you would do that on that itself.
You don't adjourn. No, it's just kind of separate, compartmentalized, something your stenographer only has to pay attention for.
So then we would have to take 8B and move it where?
Probably before special presentations.
Well, no,
Before
it's
approval of
up.
the minutes.
You would most likely break right into that meeting.
As soon as you have a meeting, you say,
Right.
at that point?
I remember doing it that way.
Well,
But just have Sean do what I
yeah,
do.
I'm fine with it going wherever, so long as the solicitor agrees that's the proper.
In the past.
Whatever saves us money.
Well, we
As far
save
as
the
stenographer
money, because
goes.
the stenographer is $150 just to show up, and then $50 for every hour she's here.
So after hearing of the
It's
public?
gotta be after hearing the public. I don't know if we hear the public ahead of presentations.
Presentation.
We're gonna-
First, get them out of the way.
But I
You
think
don't
Dave
start at
said,
7:30 with this, you start at 7:30 with the zoning change, because it's only, there's your public meeting, you go through that, and then
Then
you
adjourn
start.
it, then start
But we
off.
would still do our silent prayer, pledge of allegiance, and roll call.
Right, always say,
I'm saying it's bumping on the other side of special presentation.
what Dave was saying,
Because you're not going to have that as part of the regular meeting.
when the meeting opens up at
So
7:30.
we are gonna adjourn it.
No.
Superficially,
Oh, yeah, I'm just,
Exactly, we're not really going to leave.
right.
but do we say, okay, that meeting's closed now?
Yeah, that's how we did it.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we don't do them all.
However it works, I'm sure we can roll with it.
Yes. That way it's nice and contained.
What time is the stenographer? 7:30 or
7:30.
7:30?
I'm not that done before hearing of the public, so she can do it.
We can't do it before the hearing, because there has to be a hearing.
well, there is going to be a part of the ordinance, there has to be a public meeting.
Right, so they're gonna, if they're a particular part of the meeting, they're gonna ask the public comment.
That's why I have a stenographer here, so if there's any residents that would be here and want to comment, that would be recorded into the minutes of the zoning change meeting per council.
Well, how would we work that out? That'll be, resolved, and then we'll have approval of minutes. Which I don't know if anyone saw, they were 35 pages long. On one hand,
And we're up to date too.
one hand, I like that, because looking back from 60 years in the past, there's not going to be any worry about what happened.
A lot of it's
It's all
already
there,
with
but,
all the presentations.
Yeah, but as we heard it at Harrisburg, you're just supposed to have bullet point minutes that don't
I thought
take up
that's
that
what
much
we-
time.
I thought that's what we were supposed to have from now on.
That's what I remember
Should we,
previous agreeing to,
should we make a switch
was
to that?
that it
We
was
already did.
just.
We're supposed
No,
to.
we've made a switch, but I don't know that the office has made a switch.
Then you're gonna.
We voted on it.
They have something put in, they have that put in separately.
I'm fine with that.
We voted on it like 3 years ago, not that verbatim.
Sure. If we vote on it, we better talk to whoever does the minutes and say, hey, you don't need to be as verbose. 35 pages is a ton. I don't think I've ever
It's
seen
a lot.
minutes that long.
They're usually not that long, we have all those sorts of presentations.
But even still, they would just be cheap up and told us about this.
Right.
It wouldn't be, chief said, pause. Takes a lot of time, 35 pages. Under our reports, will we have a junior council person? I guess so.
Yes, this will be our last one.
I'm in a college, so they're done, but high school's still going.
Yes. Well, the seniors graduated, but
Oh, right.
they're
okay.
still on.
That's good. Every other report on the admin will have just as usual. Remember, if you're in the committee, bring something, if you have something worth talking about. Under finance, we have a motion to pay the bills, and our motion to approve the Riverview Neighborhood District zoning ordinance amendment, which may be moved up to its own separate meeting before the meeting. And 8C, a motion to adopt the PNC Bank resolution for a new bank account between the Borough of Morrisville and Ross J. Alessio, retiree. That's all we have on this agenda.
No, I have something.
Oh, let's add to it then.
I guess at the end of new business, motion for council to, I guess, approve and support the MPD going for the COPS grant. And just pull the wording off it on how we did it, I guess, 2 years ago. Approve, and some
Morrisville PD's
What initials on that?
That cops, is that cops ahead?
COPS.
Is that what's called COPS
The
ahead?
Department of Justice finally released some money, well, I guess they finally got the money. Go for it, which is nice, because with Ross retiring, we can replace him and try to use grant money to cut some of the salary. So, we've been kind of hoping that they open that grant.
Any other
They're very late.
Is it a number amount fee?
It's $125,000 over 4 years, but it is what it is. If you get the grant, you get that much. It's not like you get to ask for a certain amount.
So it's kind of like the
Resource officer.
resource.
It was a COPS grant that we used for the resource officer.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, you can use the same wording for the motion. I would think. Because it's only one officer, it's got to
Right.
change the date. Right. Pop it in.
Any other new business?
I think grant something that's not on our agenda, but I think that we should have discussion about, and, what's happening with the, code enforcement position.
Well, due to financial situations, what we're doing is we're having Bill Quill follow Bobby around on inspections. The reason that was work to the benefit of the borough is that Billy's not getting paid any more than to follow Billy around, and we're still getting inspections done. In this way, he's actually training with Bobby. Bobby's been coming in, doing the inspections and allowing Billy to follow over. Now, Bill's long-term goal, again, that could change in the upcoming year. However, he expects to be certified UNO officer, which Bobby has never been. And he would look to further his education to fit the needs of the borough per se with all inspections. And don't forget, we have a third party that does our plumbing, electrical,
UCC's.
yeah, they'll stay in place. So really all we're doing is looking for a UNO officer.
Right.
And enforcement of code, meaning that residents that don't,
Well,
cut the grass.
when was that decision made that he would be
It
doing
wasn't,
that job?
wasn't any decision made at this point, it was convenience. Because last month, we didn't have an agenda meeting,
Mhm.
which,
Which is when all that paperwork
and
started
that's
coming
when
back.
well, that's when we sent out what our plan was to move forward with that.
So is Bob retired or not? We got a memo.
Well, he's not retired to the 31st.
No, actually, his last day in his letter is clear. May 15th, I will be, last day in office, May 15th. That's in his letter.
Yeah.
So how is he being compensated?
He's not being compensated. He's doing it on his own to make sure that the borough runs smoothly until he officially retires altogether. I mean, if we don't, again, this was a request from me just to oversee. He has no set hours. He comes in on the days that he has inspections, goes out with Bill Quill, they do the inspections, they come back and he leaves.
But who's saying that we're agreeing to bringing in Mr. Quill to be as
Nobody at this
replacement
point, nobody at this point.
And Helen's.
I mean,
and
this,
handling all of this?
well,
Let me explain something. When Danielle and myself met with Matt Wiedenhafer about fire inspection stuff, and just so everybody knows, because I don't want anybody to think that something wasn't being said or behind your back. A year ago, I had asked the fire chief if there was any way, here in rumor, that Bobby at some point within a few years was going to retire. Could it be something that was done through the fire department? I don't know anything about that, they're the professionals. He reached out after he found out Bob was going to retire to me and Danielle and said, would you like to come in and we can explain to you, so you can take it back to the council as to how those things would work? And I said, sure, I know nothing about it. So we did. To keep that open, we invited Bob, which was what Matt wanted, which is great. He attended. We had the fire marshal from over in Falls come in. The idea was, they led the meeting because we don't know anything about this stuff. They had asked Bob, which he knows the people from Falls, he knows the fire chief over there very well. And they had talked about doing a partnership between us and just extending the border from where Falls was. All of it sounds really good, but you don't have the figures on all that. So we had asked Bob to do that. I had taken was maybe a little offended that we had done that and had no intention of doing anything behind the council. The idea was to get a cost analysis, because at this particular time when Bob was leaving, we were just thinking out of the box on what would be a better way financially maybe to take that on. So I was a little perturbed that next thing you know, we go to the conference and we're getting a letter saying that, well, we decided, whoever decided, that Quill was going to be put into this, he was going to go with Bob, and the council was left out of that decision, and we're the elected body that makes those decisions. That's an appointed position. So I took a little bit of offense to that. So now here we are, and we're telling the public, this man is retired, and that's great, he's put 30 years, 35 years in. But now, people see him on the street, and he's out there with his truck, with his uniform on, and they're like, is he not, is he? Is it legal for him to be doing what he's doing? If he's getting paid as being retired, he got that package he got, how does he then go on the street legally? Because it's a fine line with the ethics. If you look at the ethics law, look under 1103, it's a real fine line
I
that
actually
you
have
there.
it.
When someone retires out or leaves, they can't come in and do things like he's doing, where you're signing off on legal documents on any type of inspection. I understand he's not doing UCCs, he's doing checking fire alarms and things like that. But this all has to be done properly, and this is nothing against Bob, but we weren't in the loop of any of this, that there was a decision made as to someone was getting promised a position on this.
nobody's getting promised anything, Debbie.
But,
And first and foremost is that, we have a budget that we have to live.
I understand.
and we can't afford to lose the revenue. Okay, so again, due to the fact that, you know, Bobby is using his time that he earned in doing this as a service to the people of Morrisville, because he's been here 31 years. He cares about this town. He doesn't want to see anything fall to the wayside.
No one
Saying
disputes
he
it.
doesn't.
Well,
I'm not
again, that's the
disputing that.
point I'm making about, you know, this goes back in the discussion earlier when Bobby was going to retire. You know, he felt that he was more or less forced into having to use his time because of what he's seen in past practice. He didn't want to leave. He wanted to continue to work to the last day here, even though he was going to lose the money. However, again, he felt a tension amongst council that some people didn't believe that he should be entitled to the time that he had, and he put it in for his sick time and whatever, and council agreed upon
Okay.
that.
Okay,
Just
that's what I'm
because-
saying, at that point, a decision was made of the council as a whole. The council made a decision at that meeting as to what was gonna happen. So then my thought was why, you had told Danielle and myself and Matt, and DiPolito, I would say his name
Yes,
wrong, I'm sorry,
DiPolito.
from Falls, that you would get a cost of what it would be. You're saying it's not financial. We haven't seen, I've seen nothing in black and white here, Bob, that says, if we, and let me ask you something. We have a company that's been doing our UCCs. They do a decent job from what I understand. I don't think there's any problem. Nobody wants to get rid of them, so I'm assuming they're doing a good job. They're licensed for it. They do the international code, the whole bit. When it comes to now, between now and the end of the year, is it possible that we can just have someone brought in, outsource it as a part-time position right now? So that at least that stuff will be getting done, and you're not gonna have this convoluted, he's retired, he's not retired, he might be. It just is making it really not look too good, and I don't even know that liability or legal-wise you can do what you're doing. None of us knew you were gonna do that, Bob, none of us.
Well, again, you know, I believed in Bobby being a dedicated servant to the people of Morrisville, and he
He is.
agreed to come in to start training someone in case this issue actually came up.
But he's training someone that no one has agreed upon that would be taking his place.
Well, in every
So I
other
don't wanna see this as a
municipality,
waste of
Danielle,
time
the borough
for anybody else.
managers.
I'm sorry, but I'm speaking. Please give me a few minutes, please. I've looked up the federal regulations, I have them right here. I have the labor law right here. I even pulled up the zoning, because he was zoning officer also, because he had so many hats. And nobody's disputing the fact that Bob did a lot, and he was a great employee. No one's disputing that. I just want to make sure that what he's doing, because he's supposed to be on vacation, and now he's coming out of vacation, which then takes this letter that he gave to us and presented to all of council, is it
Well,
null and void?
and again, he'd be more than willing to
I
sacrifice
think it is.
4 of them, 2 of them hours each day from his retirement package to be able to do so. I mean, again, it's,
But how is he being
There was
he's not being
compensated?
If I may
compensated.
get to this, I saw the letter, I had a lot of the same concerns. Actually, my concern started back when I saw the first letter that he was leaving. I said, well, who's going to do these inspections? Because it was never discussed. It's still really, except for tonight, it hasn't really been discussed. When I saw the letter that said Bill Quill is going to be with Bob, I called Bob, and I said, what's going on? He said, I don't remember that appointment. And I know sometimes the manager puts people in, sometimes the council. I said, but once again, I don't have any paperwork, so. And he told me, yes, absolutely, Bill's following me, I'm showing him the ropes. I said, well, same thing you said. I said, well, who said he can have this job? He goes, well, no one. He said, he doesn't have the job. He goes, he may not even want the job. So we're showing him what the job is. So, it's, you know, that's as clear as mud, because again, he is doing it, he's learning it, but he hasn't been promised, and he doesn't even know at this point if he wants it. So,
And the other thing too, you have to understand, and when you look at the whole perspective of this thing, and this is nothing against Mr. Cole, I don't know the man, I've never even spoken to him, I understand he's a very nice gentleman, and he does a good job. The point being is, he's, from what I understand, he's on the union side. He has a dedicated job on the union contract, which is a meter mechanic, correct? And correct me if I'm wrong. That position pays him a certain amount of money to be able to do that position. So what I'm saying is then there's time for him to be taken, because he's being paid. You're saying he's not being paid, but we're paying him a rate to be working, and that time is being split on when he's helping or Bob or learning that job as well as, so we're paying to train him. For a
Not
position
really.
that, how do you
In
know?
fact, he's using his, they're doing,
He's on,
there's only so many inspections that's done a week. In that small period of time, which could be used as his lunch hour or whatever you want to call it, he's been going out with Bobby.
That's a lie.
It is not a lie.
It is. It is. You're
Mike,
being
Mike,
right.
Mike, you're not part of this meeting.
I got it, Alan, sitting here, but
Your audience, though.
But honestly, there's
You're
been no
trying to
public
make
comment,
sense.
there's been no
Mike.
public comment, so I'm waiting for that moment. Go ahead,
yeah,
sir.
good.
All right. If
Go ahead.
you missed it, go
And if I
ahead,
could-
Mike.
No, I'm
No, let's,
Nope,
Mike, you can't take it whenever you want it.
conduct your meeting. Okay, I can take it now?
If you'd like.
Sure.
We'll go back to public comment now.
Back to it. We never went to it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We'll go back, usually at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah. Mike Yeager, 338 Melvin Court North. So I'm hearing a lot of stuff tonight, and a lot of stuff that really just doesn't make sense. When I'm hearing that somebody might be using their time as, say, lunch hour or something like that, my recommendation would be have that documentation with you. If you're going to make an assertion that they're using their lunch hour to do something like that, have some documentation. If you're going to suggest that they're using their time to do another job, so it's not costing the taxpayer any additional, have that documentation. I will be RTKing that. That will be a request that I'll have, because to me, what I'm sitting here hearing and seeing is somebody that appears to be making things up as they go along. And I've had enough of that. I've had enough of that, guys. I'm just being honest with you. And thank you for your time.
Well, they call that micromanaging, so.
Anyone else, public comment? Back to the meeting.
Okay, that's micromanaging, and again, we have
Can I ask
a
you-
responsibility to the taxpayers, let me finish, Debbie, to, like you said, we could use our individuals that do our electrical code and plumbing code to do the UNO's inspections. There's probably 4 to 8 a week. We would lose that money. They don't give us any of that money. So all the money that we would have in our budget line now would go out the door.
Your
to the
fee you're
company.
talking about, your
Yes.
fee for it. It's gonna offset the cost to have them do that, correct? That's what you're saying? The
Yes.
fee we charge will offset them to do that.
And actually to the,
The UNO part, because we're already paying them for UCCs.
Yeah.
They bill us, it's on our
That's
bill
how I
list,
am.
correct? Okay,
that's correct.
so by a permanent amount fee is what Bob charges and comes to the borough, is what you're saying.
Comes
Well
to the
then,
borough.
but then that cost would offset paying that company to do that. And that might not be a bad idea, temporary, till we know what we're doing, instead of this, what's been going on. Why wasn't that an option? Why wasn't that brought to the council
Well,
before
first
this
of all,
was made a
Bobby,
decision to?
Bob gave me his letter in March,
Mhm.
and it was a month and a half he was retiring. So again, you know, I really didn't think he was gonna go. You know, he kept saying he was gonna go, and then he put his letter in. I didn't believe he was gonna leave. This is like Bobby's life. So-
Well, Bob, let me, I'm sorry for interrupting, but is he retired or isn't he? And the reason I ask, because when I spoke to him, he told me, like you said, he is gonna come in and do inspections. So I took it, and I don't wanna assume anything, that he's basically continuing to finish out this calendar year, even though other things have been approved by the council. So that's why he's still coming in, he's doing them, but he's basically setting his own hours. He's not waking up and coming in bright and early, he's coming in doing them, so. And I think there's a question that Debbie asked, is that kosher, is that legal? As long as the borough's not gonna get.
Well, we're-
Is he like a volunteer?
No, what we're doing is instead of
How's he
giving
getting
him
paid?
4 hours, 8 hours paid, we pay him, because we're paying him his full salary anyway. So the 4 hours he would submit, and then, well, it's not even been 4 hours, it's like 2 hours, and then, the rest it goes to
So it's like a
vacation.
subcontractor, is what you're
He's
saying?
not a
He's
subcontractor.
getting paid anyway. So
How
He's
is
gonna
he
be
getting
here till the end, he's an employee
that's-
of this borough until the 31st of 2000.
Then
You've
this
chosen-
is null and void.
You chose to pay him till the end of the year, whether you paid him one lump sum or whether you paid him month to month to make that out to the end of the year, that's what it comes out to. That contract said that you're paying him X amount of dollars, this is what he was gonna get, and then his retirement time was.
But on that note, he's really ripping himself off. He's not ripping the borough off.
I'm-
I
I'm
mean,
more
'cause-
concerned about how we're doing the codes. That's another issue to me.
Yeah, is he
Yeah, but
covered
he is
under
still,
workers' comp?
he's still our code enforcement till the 31st of December.
And
Then
if
how
that's
is
the
he-
case, then it's.
Right, but
Then
how
why
is
do
he
we- why
taking
do-
his vacation time?
Because he had it. He had 31 years of, no, not 31 years, but he had a lot of time, and he's only allowed to receive so much as payment at the end of the year for time that he has, which is $4,000 is the maximum. So this other money that you're saying that he could be off, yeah. But he decides he wants to make sure the borough is moving forward. He made a commitment to me that, he wouldn't just leave me out there, and,
But there was other options, so.
well, what other options was there, Debbie?
You, like I said, you could have used the fee for now to offset the cost to have the company do it.
We would
And
have
then we
lost
could-
that in the revenue source in our budget.
But then this letter that he gave us would be fine, but right now, it's not. And this is what was
So what is
agreed
the
upon.
dispute of that point in the letter?
His date he gave us was
I
May 15th.
understand that, but the financial
So
end
he's taking
of
the
it.
rest of his vacation time to pull him out till December 31st, getting his full salary.
But he's coming in on vacation.
But he's coming on vacation time.
I
Who's
don't even
keeping
know what
track of the
labor law
vacation
you do
time that
that.
he's
So
using?
it's in his timesheet.
I asked someone, legally wise, PSAB, just a little bit about this, and they said you might want to contact a labor law attorney to make sure you guys are doing this
All right,
thing right.
again,
I've just never seen a municipality do this.
well, first of all, Falls Township is not even interested in entering this whole thing with Morrisville. And that would only have been fire inspections.
That's, yeah.
Yes.
And there too.
So what's wrong with
that,
that?
no, we are, if everything moves forward into next year, we will have all our businesses have fire inspections.
Right now, they get a piece of paper that has for
Well,
them to
again,
fill it out, and it hasn't been done.
No, they have to comply with the list of certifications on that sheet. If they don't, then Bobby would go out and find them.
I've seen the list.
Well, let me ask you, when we had that meeting and the gentleman from Falls and Matt were talking to you about all this and the fire inspection part of that. We do not charge, in our line, in our budget, it's zero in there. So if we charge the fee that we should be charging to do inspections on all of these businesses and these apartment rentals, it would offset that cost to have them do that from Falls. And you were gonna give us the cost of that.
Falls is not interested
Oh, they,
in
well,
crossing the line.
Okay.
And again, they explained to me the same way I actually stated that day that,
you met with them?
yes, I did.
We've got
Well,
no paperwork.
huh?
We've got no notice about this, why I'm asking
Well,
about it.
again, it was somebody that you brought together, or Matt brought together for a meeting that wasn't even approved by the supervisors of Falls Township.
That was just a conversation to see if it was even going to work. That was the idea was he was.
Well,
That
there
was
was
just
a
for
motive
fire
behind their
inspections.
madness there.
It was just for fire inspections, though.
Yeah,
When was the last time our businesses had a fire inspection?
well, Bobby's done things his way for 31 years, and if I could just, again,
That
Transparency.
doesn't, but that doesn't answer my
and
question.
again, but my point of it is, the way he did his fire, he was the chief of fire, moved into this position. You know, as Bobby would say, that he did fire inspections every time he went out to the businesses or went to the rental, to the apartments. Would always do a walkthrough of the common areas. Is it the way Bobby did it the right way? No. But if you show me well, again, I wasn't here, Daniel.
I wasn't either, Bob.
And
I
I'm-
wasn't either. That's why I'm
That's what I'm saying.
flabbergasted that this is okay.
Yeah, we
When
want
we
to
make
move
the hire
forward,
for
when
this
we go
position, we
moving
will.
forward into the future.
We're not there
we're
yet.
gonna- I would love to have that $100 for that fire inspection.
And the fire inspection needs to be separate from
Yes.
the code enforcement.
Well, we'd like to have the rentals
Yes.
inspected as well, correct?
Right.
Like, I'd like to roll that all into a new
Well, the
position.
rentals
Do you know
are
your fire
inspected.
chief is actually able to do your rental inspections?
We don't have the paperwork in order to do them yet.
It's in
I
the
believe.
borough code.
Right, but we don't have an internal process to
Okay.
do. Bob Seward said he was working on it. I don't know that he got anywhere with it. No one from the fire company can take the job.
As code enforcement, because it's conflict of interest in case there's a fire.
So as much as it makes sense, it goes against the
Right.
law, so it's not.
That's why Matt said that you can't wear all those hats.
Right.
Because when we had a fire, yeah, that's why Falls would have to come in, the gentleman that met with us that day, or the county would have to come in, because Bob could not do the paperwork on that being a code enforcer.
The county actually will come in and do investigations.
Yeah, that's
Exactly, exactly.
They won't do inspections, but they'll do
Business.
Right,
investigations.
Right, but what about
Investigation, right.
businesses being
Exactly.
inspection or
Well,
inspected to make
we
sure
should
that they're
implement
not
that
doing
starting the first of the year, that
They've been
all
done since
businesses will
2014.
receive a letter stating that starting in 2018, all businesses and all rental units will have a fire inspection starting January 1st, 2018. I can't do anything about the past. All I can do is fix it moving forward. And I agree 100% with Matt that he should feel safe going into these businesses when there's a fire, that they're up to the fire code. So I'm agreeing with you. I'm just trying to find a way we can get there without spending, giving another municipality a large sum of money to do fire inspections, investigation, when we can get it from the county for free. And it's only for a period till either we get somebody that's certified as a fire inspector, or we sub it out.
But why not sub it out to a municipality that's right
Because
here?
they're not interested.
Just to do your fire inspections.
So we can, but we can sub that out separate from.
And the same thing that I kind of was upset about is what's up, from what I was told, they're upset. Because this is not something that was just presented to us that day. This is something that was ongoing with the fire marshal and Falls Township for a few years now. The fire marshal wants to increase his budget, bring on another full-time person, and they've told him repeatedly, they will not do that. So, and again, he felt if he brought Morrisville in, and we paid the difference for that part-time fire marshal, now full-time, then he could have that in his budget, because he'd be receiving that much. They're not interested in that.
Not only that, Falls is a totally different animal, probably nobody knows. Look, we talk about the fringe benefit package and what it costs to have our employees have insurance, and it's like $18,000. Just their medical in Falls is $50,000. I couldn't believe it when I read that. So the fees to do the inspections would be through the roof if they pay a full-time person.
I'm concerned that the businesses that we have here in town are not being inspected
Well, again,
and haven't been inspected.
I would love to have that $100 a year per every business in every apartment complex in Morrisville to be charged $100 per year to go out.
Per
and-
unit? In an apartment complex or
No,
per?
apartment complex, in the common areas. And every business to have, as Falls Township does. However, the only difference is that we would be receiving the revenue, and
Which would offset our costs, it's not really a revenue, it's.
I
Right.
just
But there's
don't
no
think,
ordinance in
would be a
place.
revenue.
you know,
currently to do
sending
that. Is that
the
correct?
business
But it's
a
not a
letter
profit
and
stream,
saying,
it's
here,
a
check
way to
off
That's
this
why-
box if you have it, or if you don't have it, is really,
That's the
You know,
only
smart.
reason we wanted to start that conversation, was the fact that we have the opportunity to get these positions done properly. And whether it's done through a fee that offsets that cost, to make sure the fire inspections are done properly. I'm
That's what I
good with
want.
that. But it should not be together as one happy and Warren, it should be a separate position for that. And to make sure that we're charging a fee, just like Falls does for us. I work in Falls, they come every year, they inspect and they charge our business for us and give us that tag on everything, and they should. And that money goes into that program that pays those guys. And we
But
need
again,
something
too-
here being done properly.
And again, I'm just saying this only because, you know, I've heard the talk out there. It's just like UNO inspections. I owned an investment property for many years, and I could tell you, I could go out tomorrow and do UNO inspections.
Right.
Because I've seen them done so many times,
You're
and
right.
there's a checklist. It's the same thing as with fire inspections. The only difference between a fire marshal and a fire inspector is a fire marshal does the investigation. However, we have the county we can use. Now, I've talked to Frank Ferry, I've talked to several other managers within Bucks County who serve other communities, and they've been guiding me through this process, saying that it's better to be done in-house, due to the fact that we've had it like that for so many years, and we're only a 2-mile square town. So we're not a big municipality, so we can't just throw money out there when we don't need to.
But we might be able to outsource that position, because when you're saying about saving the money, when you do that, you're now bringing on a salary and benefit, and we may not be as big as Falls, but we also have that.
Well,
budget.
again,
So
if
you have to do that cost. I've never seen anything in writing on a cost on that. What would it cost to bring someone in that has that licensing to do that fire inspection, and if you were gonna put them on
Well, if
payroll
we-
as compared to putting it on an outsourced?
Okay, I'm just,
Well,
We've
what
checked
Debbie
into
just
it.
said is actually where I think this council is headed. At the end of the year, you're either gonna
Right.
offer to build a job or outsource it and bring someone else in. I mean, that's your two choices,
and now
really.
on his own, he's willing to, before we would make a decision to move forward, he would go and get all the certifications needed.
is he getting BOCA certification, or is
He's
he
getting
getting
both,
the international?
and BOCA.
Why would you go both if you went to the
Yeah.
international?
Well,
If he doesn't
again,
get this job.
we
then
use
it's
BOCA
doing other
in
things.
We still use
Morrisville.
Boca.
What's that?
We still use Boca.
I think
I
we're
know,
the
that's
only
why he's doing
borough
both.
that still uses
But
BOCA.
eventually, we could go into the international.
Right.
I mean, it's almost the
Well,
same
it's got to
thing,
do-
and
3 years ago.
The difference is, the international one gives you more teeth when you gotta go to court for somebody that's especially a landlord out of town, that's the idea.
so again, everything that I've been doing to move forward is to save the borough cost and to, again, if we hired we break it up. If we're gonna hire a code enforcement officer, and we hire a fire inspector, you know, we're paying 2 different people, and we can have one person doing that job.
But who says you have to have somebody on here full-time?
We will have somebody on here full-time. If we,
You may not need to, a lot of towns only have the UNOs like 3 days a week.
Well,
They don't
first
bring
of
them in
all,
full-time.
and you all know this, that Bobby got more money than just for code enforcement. He was the zoning law, he wore many hats.
Yes.
If Billy took over the position, he would not be wearing all of the hats. He'd be making probably a good amount less than what Bobby made, because we can break it down into what Bobby's actual code enforcement position was. Again.
Can I just say this for future reference, that right here in the zoning board procedures, under Article 9, I believe it is, Section 903, members of the board shall hold no other elected or appointed office in the municipality, nor shall any member be an employee of the municipality. Meaning, your zoning board officer,
No, that's the zoning board, that's the
Yeah,
officer
that's-
of the zoning.
We have a
board.
zoning board. We
Right,
appoint people
and
to it,
Robbie
and they're
was the
very
zoning-
particular.
No,
Robbie
he
was
was,
in zoning too, correct?
But he was not on the board.
he's not a board.
He wasn't
was-
a board member?
No, that's a very
He's the one who would go
select
out.
group that can be zoning.
Yeah, it has to be very separate.
Well, every day we have different scenarios that come in. Actually, Brunt brought me one today that had something to do with deed restrictions or things like that. It's complying under the zoning that's in the town. For residents to be clarified what that zone use would be. Bobby would go out and tell them, you can't do that because it doesn't comply with the zoning. Meaning if they did, then he would have the right to fine them. That's the only thing he really dealt with the zoning. Now, there is, you know. And I wasn't trying to do anything over and above. However, again, it's one thing to look at the big picture than what we have at hand. We can't afford to pay somebody to replace Bobby during the year. You could order me to, and then when we do that, again, we gotta find a way to upset that cost of hiring another code enforcement officer. We have somebody who's willing to, and I think in any company, you should have employees feel that there is chance for,
This isn't just any position though, that's the thing.
well, again, Bobby was never certified. Billy
Yeah.
Quill,
He's getting paid for it.
again, I understand that Bobby had been doing it, and this is the problem we had with Matt that day.
All right, let me
Because
ask,
we did not want to cross that line due to the fact of the loyalty that Bob has given this borough over the years. And that's the issue that we were kind of involved with when I had Matt in my office, we talked about it, and then that day when we were at the firehouse.
well, let me ask you something. The way I'm seeing it then, if we already have a company that's doing the UCCs, and let's say you had them give you a price of what they would charge to add the UNOs. And you could also get quotes from other
Then
places.
Debbie,
But
we
what
would
I'm
lose
saying
that
is,
one.
wait. We're talking the end of the year now, supposedly, this is when this is gonna happen. So now you're saving though, because you're not paying for a salary plus a benefit. You mean to tell me to add that UNO is gonna cost that much money for any company to do that part for us? Where's that, that's a cost savings, right
All right,
there.
then who's gonna do our fire inspections?
You're saying that was gonna be separate,
No,
so you have somebody separate do that.
You're not
No, I'm
gonna have
saying,
code
that's
enforcement
what you're
fire
saying,
inspections.
that we would have separate. I believe that we can have one person, as like what Bobby did,
Wearing
do
the
all
hats.
this, yeah.
No, you don't want someone wearing all those hats
Just as
again.
many hats?
It's, again,
Oh, I thought you were always gonna outsource the UCC stuff.
what we do.
That's what I'm saying, well, now you're saying that somebody can do it all.
Well,
Again,
well, I don't mean,
I know.
I'm just saying that with code enforcement, every municipality has one. You know, again, it's different, and you'll find out. You know, there's people that believe that going out into the private sector is the answer to all. I would say that what Mr. Seward has done for this town, for individual, the community itself, to feel secure, to understand situations that come up, that he guides them through, is worth more to a community than, you know, a couple $100 here a month, or a couple $100 there a month.
Well, that's what you're bringing
I
up.
didn't start this budget and created it the way it is with all the positions.
No one's
I'm
saying
trying
Ron
to work
doesn't care about
with,
the community, but our job as council
Is the finance end of this, that's what you're stating.
that's
it's
what
about
I'm trying to do, is keep us
is to
in
make sure
within
that
our
everything
budget.
is done and run
When I did my
properly.
budget, I did not know Bobby Stewart was leaving. Now it affects my budget.
So
So
he's
again,
not
I'll
retiring,
tell you
and
what,
his
that
letter
day,
is null and void, correct?
Well, not one full week. He's coming in a couple hours a week, here and there.
But it doesn't say that in here. It doesn't say
Well,
it.
because, again, well,
Yeah, you have, mine.
Should I just write it in and just for shits and giggles, sign it? I mean, that's the problem I'm having.
We vote on something and it's not valid anyway, because I mean.
Just like the
it's
trash
changed
ordinance,
after
it
we
was
voted.
voted on, nobody enforces it, no one knows who's supposed to enforce it, so why even bother having it? Right?
And That's just
Who
like now,
enforces
when
the
all,
trash ordinance? Nobody knows.
when all this came up with the retirement stuff all together, one of the things that was mentioned was, well, one of our biggest problems is you gotta make sure that you've got some kind of contract to protect the borough, because you didn't, nobody wanted to follow the
Is there a contract?
resolution for salary.
again, I
Had.
can't do anything about the
I know,
past.
but
I'm
all I'm
trying in
saying
the
is
But
that
future.
this is
still
the
haven't done
future,
any of
he's
that.
coming in outside of his vacation time. Is there a contract between the borough and Mr. Seward?
He is an employee of the borough.
According to his letter, he was done the 15th.
Okay.
Is
No,
there a
well,
letter?
then, again, he's not done till the 31st of